Hey, everybody, we are live with BitcoinHeadlines.tv. I'm Steve Moran here with my good friend Douglas, the BTC Guru Yates. How you doing,
Hello,
Doug?
Steve.
What's happening today?
Man, it's another exciting day, man. Every day I wake up, it's first of all, my count keeps growing. So,
I
just like
know.
yours, which is awesome.
I love it, isn't it? You
Yeah,
wake up every day and you look and you go, man, I got more money than I had when I went to sleep, and
yeah.
I didn't sell anything or do anything else. It's like that's pretty
That's
cool.
the beauty. One thing that's different than the stock exchange and blockchain is blockchain is 24/7, 365 days a year. It never stops. There's no downtime. It doesn't sleep. It goes, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing because if you're
Yeah.
obsessed with it, you're probably not going to get any sleep. So, everything in moderation, keep your life balanced, all that good stuff. But,
Yeah, it was a lot scarier, 4 years ago when I was getting paid out in it because I
yeah.
was scared what time
Oh,
the
yeah.
money came in, if I was asleep or whatever, because I could wake up and it was having big swings back then.
Yeah, that was those were some crazy times.
And you just
Yeah,
didn't know how far down it was going to go. And you never
yeah,
knew. I mean, you knew it was going to go back up, but it was like, so that was just some scary stuff. I mean, in today's world, it's like you don't have to worry about that anymore. But with that never closing, it was like, man,
yeah. You get paid $1,000, and then you go, hey, it's worth 500, and oh, it's worth 1,200.
yeah,
That kind of stuff. So, and I believe personally that those days are over. That high velocity, high volatility, not velocity, but volatility,
right.
is being compressed, and mainly for the reason that I've been thinking about this all day yesterday and all day today about this adoption rate that's happening. You just look at the new, with Ethereum setting an all-time high every day. Now Bitcoin used to be over 50% of the volume and worth of it compared
Right.
to all the other coins, and now it's about 48%. So these other
Mm-hmm.
altcoins are and this is all these altcoins are all about technology, uh, uh, new technology, and adoption. And it's getting easier and easier and easier for people to onboard, come into this world and buy cryptocurrency.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I've never really played around with too many. I mean, I did, Ripple a long time ago. I've done some other ones, and I've had some Ethereum, but never really wasn't buying a lot of Ethereum, for a while. And I really started to just a couple weeks ago. Really, just start moving some of it into. And what's interesting too is sometimes you don't have to go buy it. Sometimes you can just trade. You can just trade some of the Bitcoin you have, and you can just trade it for, Ethereum.
Yeah,
And I did that like
they
2
call it
weeks.
basically they call it shape shifting. You're just kind of you're exactly doing. You're just trading.
Yeah, I mean, and it was cool because I went in and I was playing around on my little Jack's Liberty app, and I said, okay, well, I'll take this much of a Bitcoin and I'll do this, and let's see how it works in this app. I hadn't done it before, and I did it a couple weeks ago. And I mean, God, the money that I bought in Ethereum, it's already gone up like 25-30%. I mean, it's just freaking more than that,
Yeah. Yeah.
in 2
Absolutely.
weeks. And it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I dug into it because I always like to see the reasons why things just don't happen out of the blue. Another difference between the stock exchange and blockchain and the cryptocurrency world is stock exchange has market makers, it has computer algorithms that try to keep it everybody safe, right?
Right.
But in reality, it's beneficial to the big guys. The market makers can do whatever they want. They can put in huge sells or huge buys and then pull it back just to get movement. So that's called manipulation. That the blockchain world and these exchanges, they're it's true supply and demand, and that's why the volatility was so crazy because supply and demand is a fickle and a crazy wild west thing. But it's a good thing in the long run because it shows you the true value of something, and that's what's happening with Bitcoin, and that's why a lot of people say the bear market's coming, and I don't believe the terms bear and bull apply to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It's a different animal. There's not company. We talked about this before. There's not companies that have to tout their stock or reach a certain goal. It's true supply and demand, and in Bitcoin's case, the supply is getting less and less and less, and the demand is going up and up and up.
Yep, the algorithmic scarcity, as Mark
Yeah.
Cuban called it. Again, we talk about like stocks. You would compare it against like a stock as far as a holding type of a thing. They can just keep issuing stock. He can just
Yeah.
keep issuing more and more and more stock and diluting everybody else around. And somebody has that power, and nobody has that power in Bitcoin. It's just it's going to do what it's going to do till it's done doing it, and then it's not going to keep. Then it's not going to make anymore.
Yeah.
And
I think they're going to look back on the year 2021 and in the cryptocurrency world, and they're going to call it the year of adoption, because there is just so many, just institutional wise and also retail. Retail is you and I, the people,
right.
the consumers, just pouring in. We talked about the $1 trillion that they, the headlines of the people in the analysts are saying are just from institutional and governmental money that's pouring into it. And then you got the retail that's chasing it too, because everybody's trying to change their financial standing. I got two stories that are really interesting and cool. My brother-in-law, he called and said, "Hey, you ever heard of this coin called Helium?" And it's an Internet of Things coin, and it's a really cool network type coin. I don't know too much about it. My son knows a lot about it. He's been researching it. It's a fairly new deal, but he's been researching it for like 2 weeks, and he's an expert now. That's how it is in this world.
Right.
And so I go, "Hey, my son, knows a ton about it." And he talked to him, and he showed him how to get a server and build a node and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, "I'm just tired of being broke." And I'm like, people are getting that way. They're just tired, of working all day long for a buying power that is getting less and less and less. You're basically getting paid less on a daily basis in this time zone, this time frame we're in right now.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, every time you pick up the paper, you look at to pick up the paper, you look at your phone, I guess, for headlines nowadays, right? I don't know when the last time was I looked on a paper.
Showed your age there a little bit, Steve.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's just always, it's all headlines about, different digital currencies, and, Bitcoin and Ethereum are just crushing the headlines these days.
Yeah. And it's because of the adoption of what's coming in. The second story, I was walking in the alley behind our house, and the UPS guy was there, and he was on his phone. I'm, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's all, "Oh, just looking at some stocks." I go, "Oh, you're back alley stock trading." And he started laughing. I go, "Man, you got to jump into Bitcoin." And he's like, "Too expensive." I go, "What do you mean it's too expensive?" I go, you could just buy like $100 of it. "Yeah, a buddy of mine has a few $1 million worth of it, and he said he can't sell it because they're going to charge him 40%. And I'm like, "Well, first of all, where's your buddy doing this? Because that's outrageous, and I'll help him out, and I'll only charge him 20%.
Yeah.
But he started laughing. But you have to be careful. That's why we're here, to let you know that you don't, that guy, you need to give us a call. Steve and I call, and we'll show him exactly how to move Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin or trade it for another.
If you're trying to liquidate it, it's easy to liquidate.
Yeah, I mean, I moved a bunch of Bitcoin just recently, and it cost me less than $10.
Yeah.
Because I'm not using those crazy exchanges and stuff like that. So you got to know, the ins and outs and stuff to be able to say that. And so so two things: that mentality that Bitcoin's too expensive, it really isn't. It's a great storage of wealth, like Steve and I have been talking about. And Steve and I are not the only ones saying this. We're basically parroting what's going on in the headlines in the industry out there. And you could buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, and it's still a good investment in my mind. I'm not giving advice. I'm just telling you what I do. But that's something that we got to educate the world out there, that it's not something that's too expensive to use. You could buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, and it could go up, and you can make a few money, and then a few gains on it, and then you could buy coffee with it. You could do whatever, and that's getting easier and easier, and that's what we're talking about, adoption.
Right.
And more people, Apple Pay is taking more and more crypto. PayPal is they said it's beyond their expectations about the adoption rate in crypto through PayPal. There's a new blockchain called Cardano. Their coin is ADA coin, a great coin, great altcoin. It's kind of a competitor to Ethereum. and they're being adopted by Apple Pay just now. So, these headlines are just crazy, and it's going to get crazier because the people are starting to think in this new world and come up with some incredible inventions that are going to just make our life, different, supposedly easier. But I just say it's kind of different, and we're fast moving into this new financial world that's based on a blockchain. The largest shipping container company in the world just announced today they're going to run their whole supply chain on the blockchain, which means you'll be able to track the product that they are involved with from source all the way to end, so you know exactly where it's coming from, where it went, all that kind of stuff. So full transparency.
Yeah, I think when you talk about adoption, adoption comes kind of in two forms. One of it is like using the Bitcoin, like transferring, using it as to purchase things and things along those lines. But the other thing is just the starting to understand what can be done on things like Ethereum and from the business and starting to think about that. Yeah. You and I were talking earlier. One of our core businesses has been sales funnels and kind of hacking sales funnels, really successful sales funnels, and going through and seeing what they do, why they do it, where their ads, and just, in today's world, you can literally go out and do that, and you can kind of almost find the most successful business, and it doesn't take long to figure out how to do that. But even with that, see, so many of those companies, like we were looking at today, these billions of dollars in sales, right, that are going through these sales funnels, they're still having huge chargebacks, okay, and huge credit card fees. That if they put their model on the blockchain, right? They put this thing on the blockchain, it would be a totally different animal for them, right? It would be a totally different animal.
Absolutely.
The profits would go through the absolute roof. But see,
we're not talking 1% and 3% increase. Sometimes you got to set aside 60% of your sales to handle the chargebacks, returns, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, depending upon the space you're in. A lot of these credit card companies hold 50% of your money that comes in
minimum
for 12 weeks or something like that, right?
Hey, I did a launch that it was a multi-level product, and it was in the health industry, and we basically went from 5,000 to 2.3 million in about 90 days, and the credit card company kept 2 million. We didn't get that money for almost a year. It was absolutely crazy. So you're right. It's a huge problem, issue, concern in the.
We were scrolling through, looking at hundreds of very successful guys, top funnels, right? And these guys are all $1 million plus per year funnels in there. And there's, you get in front of these guys and say, hey, how much you actually collecting on that? What percentage? Because moving that it doesn't take much really to move that to the blockchain. From what they're already doing.
It doesn't at all.
It doesn't take much at all, right?
And the good part is, like you said this, I don't know, it was yesterday or the day before. The blockchain world is a push world. Push from us, the people, we the people, the business, the consumers, the people that really should have control. We push the money because we chose to do it, because we feel whoever we're pushing that to is going to give us value back that we like. We accept that value.
We're accepting that we're getting value every month. We're not going to just wake up and get our credit cards dinged every month.
And if you don't get value, then you don't push, and that person doesn't get your money. Which is incredible too. So it's a win-win on both sides of things, actually.
Right, because people are going to have to create better content and continually add value if they want to have to continually ask every month for to give them money.
Yeah, and we us business guys, entrepreneurs across the world, we need to keep tabs on this too. The credit card companies are moving big time in the blockchain, and they're going to want to take a lot of the old rules and bring them in. And we don't, some of those rules are terrible. We don't want those rules in here. So we just keep an eye on it. This is a little side comment, from me into my soapbox. But as an entrepreneur, just keep an eye on that stuff. And if there's laws coming in your state or your country, call it.
The credit card companies are going to fight like hell for this. If you see the amount of money that those guys make on transaction fees, and all the other things that are associated with things. I mean, your card holder fee, all these other kinds of fees, right?
Yep.
You know, companies adopt the blockchain and start to move it into the blockchain and don't need those other services anymore and don't need to get hammered by those other services anymore. So, you know, they've got to go in and accept that they've got to be part of this, you know, but they are going to, you know, they got a lot of money and they got a lot of deep pockets. So they are going to push back. They're going to, you know, legislate it as much as they can. And they're going to try and always have more fees or charges because they're losing their bread and butter. I mean,
yep.
And
they know it. That's why they're jumping in and conforming.
Yeah, of course they do. Because if they look at it, I mean, their business is just going to get, their revenue is going to get cut drastically. If you look what it's going to be in 10 years, okay, and look at like American Express, Visa, MasterCard, I mean, what's their revenue going to be in those years compared to where it is now? Okay.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that it can't be anywhere near the same. And again, this kind of goes back to like we were talking about, even, you know, the hedge funds trying to package the different Bitcoins and the different things and stuff all together. You know, they're used to being able to charge all kinds of different fees, you know, these annual fees for this, these and all these kinds of things. You don't need that stuff anymore. It's kind of like,
right.
What happens with it all? You know, what happens with it? Because, you know, like you've said before, there's places out there where you can take your digital currency and you can leverage that, and you know, right? You can still be borrowing against that asset that's moving up in value instead of just being over here paying to have a Visa card and to have all these other cards that I'm paying these annual fees on and all these other things that are coming along with it. You know, that's how Visa and MasterCard and American Express made all their money, right?
Yeah.
Is with all these other things that go on there. And they're finding that, man, it's going to be a hard world for us in 20 years. Where are we going to be in 20 years if we don't figure out how to maneuver here?
Yeah, absolutely.
And maneuvering really, I think, is going to mean they're going to almost have to redefine themselves as what they do, because
they have to provide value.
The model won't continue to work under today's circumstances, right?
Yeah. No, and they're going to have to, you know, provide valued services for both the businesses and the retail, the consumer. They're gonna, you know, they have to figure that out, which they will. I mean, they're smart people. They're gonna come in and we're gonna see some pretty cool new services.
See a lot of cool stuff because they've got to start thinking outside the box and they've got to do things different. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about this the other day. Imagine you as let's say you're a commission only salesperson. How'd you, and you know, and you make a big sale and then you got to wait 6 weeks for, you know, the paperwork and all blah, 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 blah. You go through it, and then, you know, they write you a check or do they wire it in your account or whatever, and you got to wait for that. You know, in the blockchain world, you know, your commission could be built right into that smart contract, and when the contract fulfills, you know, your coin is being put right into your wallet that, you know, that minute, that second.
And that can really mean a lot in this business. I mean, you know, having to wait 2 weeks, you know, for your paycheck, you know, like a lot of people have to do. You know, you're getting dollars that are worth less than they were when you earned them.
That's true.
You know, where this way you're getting money immediately, and if the market keeps swelling, you know, you got a chance for it to pretty much grow. I mean, if you put any kind of balance in there, it's, you know, it doesn't really go down unless you're just holding it all in one thing, and that happens to go down.
Yeah. You know? So, you know, if you're tired of working your butt off all week for less and less, you know, you came to the right place. We're going to help you turn that around. And we talked about yesterday, we got some exciting things coming up. We got some webinars that coming up that will help train you. And like Steve said, he has in Steve's back pocket, he has sales funnels, and sales funnels are just, you know, a way to generate income on the internet that generated more than $1 billion worth of revenue. And
sales funnels are, I mean, I came from a world, first of all, it was face-to-face selling, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was, you know, running businesses where you're selling things on the phone. But now, literally, with the right kinds of presentation, you know, now we can go from selling, you know, one-to-one, you know, typically what you were doing, now selling one-to-many. And that's the most important thing on the internet, is to be able to sell one-to-many, because you can reach so many people. And if you have the right message, so what a sales funnel does is everything from the landing page to the whole thing, that there's just this whole, it's complex thing that is built like underground or wherever it is, but like this schematic of exactly what's happening, all the ads that ran to drive to these pages, everything that happens, all the email sequences, literally everything we map out, because, success leaves clues. Okay. At the end of the day,
Right. Yes.
you can spend a lot of money going out and trying to figure out what might work or what might not work, but I'd much rather go find somebody who's already kicking ass and taking names and doing what I want to do and go, all right, let's just go in and buy all this stuff and see what they're all about. And, you can learn from that. And
yeah,
that's what funnel hacking is funnel hacking is going through and just doing that. And we've got, access to any kind of funnel that you ever could possibly need or want. And video where you go through and people explain it, why they did this, why this works,
So that's part of the educational products that we're packaging up for you guys, and we'll be presenting to that you guys soon. The great, think about, let's say you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a business. So you come up with your idea, your service, your product, right? You got that dialed in.
Right.
You don't know if it works or not, because you got to put it out there to see what the world, the consumers think, right? And that's where Steve's talking about, don't reinvent that process. Go find something that's worked, that's talking the language that you should talk, and attracting the type of people that you want to attract, and that are actually trading their dollars or their money for your services and such. And then think about, once you get that dialed in, and you spent years doing that, or you can let us help you and spend minutes doing that, replicating that. So that's the next thing. That's the next level of growth. Once is the entrepreneur launching it. The next thing is basically building it, the growth, right?
Right.
And that's sometimes harder than the launch, or vice versa. And so, but if you got something that works, the replication part is extremely important. And that's where I'm a good help with Steve. He's got the marketing part, the replication and technical part. I got to that taken care of, and between the two of us, we can really help.
As an entrepreneur, I just want to go out and create. I want to go out and create. Keep creating and see that it works. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. If you are a single entrepreneur, you're a sole proprietor, and you're making so much, and you're working your butt off for it, because you work, you say, if I don't work, I don't earn, type of stuff.
Right.
If you're able to replicate yourself 1,000 times and share that with the people that you're helping others, but you're also
that's why information is such a growing business, Doug. Is because
that's my point.
Information business is going to be $1 billion a day by 2025. Okay?
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because digital information, it's like you get to transfer the information to people instantly. Okay. And in this new world, you get paid instantly. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to get paid. So, the opportunity is, with this, and this is why, guys, you got to understand, you want to learn this business, because there's opportunities you're going to participate as a consumer. Okay. There's opportunities for you to maybe figure out how this whole thing can play in the future of your business and your life, in that realm. And then there's also the opportunity to be able to go out and help others take their businesses into the blockchain world. Because, before the internet, okay, all of our businesses were analog, right? It's pretty much, we were all brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Okay? We were all brick and mortar. Okay. Then we went all internet. Okay. And now guess what? Brick and mortar is like dying. I look out my window here. I got 25 store office buildings out here, and they're like empty. They've been empty for almost a year with the COVID stuff. It's like crushing certain businesses, so there's so many different opportunities out here, and the education, again, we're all in different places in our life. And it's like, you don't need to be, if you know enough about business, if you've been consulting to businesses in the traditional world, you can take that and move it right into the blockchain world pretty easily. You're just going to learn the lingo and figure that out. And
from our point of view, it's pretty easy. From you that never, that dove into that pool yet, you might think this is daunting, but that's why we're here.
And see, one of the other opportunities that I see is, to be able to find other companies that need help, okay, and help those companies and help them develop smart contracts and like leverage yourself a little licensing deal in there that you get kind of paid on continuing, over and over and over again. And as long as they stay in business, that's what'll happen.
Yep. Yeah, and wait till we open the world of NFTs to you guys and the Internet of Things on the blockchain and
It's crazy.
this
People
new
selling some of these.
innovation.
It's crazy what people are paying for these digital
Yeah,
images that
and
a
that's the
billion other
future.
people can have the same picture of the image, but theirs is the real one.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a really cool, crazy. I love it. I come. I was in the record business for a while, and so the arts, the music, that kind of stuff is really it's really appealing to me. And the artist gets screwed over all the time, and this is going to be a huge fix to that.
we're going to talk about some of that maybe tomorrow. Let's talk about if people are interested. I mean, that's a really neat area. People that are artistic and that have different things like that they want to do. I mean, this is really a way where they can go out and build a true legacy product.
Yeah. Listen. So let's say you wrote a song, and let's say you sold that song using an NFT. We'll give you a little hint what we'll talk about tomorrow. And then so that it gets put in the blockchain that you sold it from you to this other person. Now they basically own that song, but you get you don't want to give up 100%. So let's say you only sold 80% of that, and let's say you sold it for $1,000, right? And then let's say that other person, the next person, they sold it because you got really popular. They sold it for 5,000, but because you own 20% of that, it's in the blockchain that you get 20% of that. So you get $1,000 off that sale, and so on and so on and so on. That as long as that blockchain is alive, which is forever, blockchains never die. You or your estate is getting that royalty. It's getting paid back to you.
So a painting, a Picasso. If Picasso had the blockchain, his family could still be reaping millions of dollars every time one of his paintings was sold.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It's pretty. It's a pretty cool thing. We'll dive deep into it tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I think everybody really like to see how that kind of stuff can work because, I mean, think about it. Most artists, they don't make any money until,
no.
Once you die, your stuff goes up in value, but then it's like then you can't do anymore.
Yeah. And with the internet, anybody can present their stuff to the world. They just pop it on the internet.
Right.
And if you want people to see it, that's where Steve's got a funnel that'll let millions of people see it, and then you can use the blockchain to be able to make sure you get paid for that. It's
and if it's something really cool, it's amazing what people will pay for stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just amazing. There's so many people out there that have money and if you have what they want, it's like. Money's just all about exchanging stuff. It's all it really is.
Method of exchange.
Money is really it's just for exchanging stuff. You give me money. You go to the grocery store. You give them money. They give you food. It's like that's what it's built for. It's for exchanging. So that'd be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people. It's just if we don't know what we don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. That's the cool thing. Is that the kind of things that you learn and all you need one thing to spark, one thing to really kind of get your attention and go, wow, okay, God, what does that mean? What would happen if that could work, and
that's the cool thing about this world. Yeah. What would happen? Let's go try it. Let's do it. And what if something happens? That's incredible. And don't limit yourself in your mind. If you're going to come up with an idea, come up with the biggest idea you can come up with, and then just do it.
And that's why this is such a great space to be in because literally everybody in the world needs to understand where we're going. Okay, it's kind of like I said, we started brick and mortar, and then we went internet, and now brick and mortar is getting destroyed because of the internet. Okay, it's kind of all going away, the malls and everything, and now blockchain is going to ultimately kind of do it to the internet what, the internet did to brick and mortar. It's the next step in the evolution.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys showing up today. You had some great comments yesterday. Thanks for that. Go to our websites, check out the website, look at past shows, give us your comments, tell us what you want if you learned something, or if you have a question or whatever, shoot it over to us, and stay tuned. We got more stuff for you.
Lots of stuff every day, guys. All right, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.